Hey guys, it's Laurie. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. If you like my Merry and Bright, I made it in a past video from some Dollar Tree dice, and I'll link that below in case you'd like to check it out. To start my Christmas bell candle, I'm using one of the 9-inch glass cylinders from the Dollar Tree. I'm using the 8.5-inch pillar candle, and I'm removing the label. I'm also using 4 packages of the 50 count green and red bells. This project is so easy. I mixed up the bells, and now I'm going to slip the candle into the glass cylinder. While holding it in place, all I'm doing is adding the bells around it. If at any point your bells get stuck on the sides, all you need to do is just kind of spin the candle. By doing this, you just kind of free up the space and then just continue adding in the bells. When all your bells are added, just kind of wiggle the candle around a little bit and shake things around until all the bells are evenly distributed. I'm adding a ribbon and a bow to this project, and you can get some really pretty ribbon at Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some that I already had in my stash. I wrapped a piece of the ribbon around and I cut it to size. I then added a little hot glue to secure it in place. I'm going to add a bow on the front, so I added a little hot glue on the top and the bottom of the ribbon, and then I just kind of pinched it together to give myself a smaller area. I cut about 18 inches of ribbon. I folded it in half to find the center, and then I just made a simple bow. I secured it together with a piece of floral wire, and then I dovetailed both the ends. When I was done, I snipped off the extra floral wire, and then using my hot glue gun, I attached it to the front of my ribbon. I wanted to keep this project very simple, so I'm adding on one of these sparkly trees from the wooden Dollar Tree stickers. You can always take it one step further and have a red and green bell hanging from under the tree. I love how simple and elegant it came out. And remember, you all know my husband's a firefighter, never ever leave a lit candle unattended. I'm participating today in Heidi Sonboul DIYs monthly DIY challenge, and the theme this month is Christmas. Heidi is the sweetest person, and she has an amazing channel, which I'm going to link below along with the playlist for this challenge. For my next project, I'm recycling a 12-ounce glass salsa jar. I'm then using 3 packages of the red and white striped paper straws from the Dollar Tree. I placed a rubber band around the jar, and if you noticed, I couldn't get all the sticker residue off, so if that happens to you, not to worry because it will be hidden. I started with 3 straws. You can use as many as you'd like, and I just slipped them underneath the band. Once they were in place, I turned my jar around, and then using my scissors, I just snipped off the tops. I continued doing this until the entire jar was covered with these red and white striped straws. Now with all your hard work done, guess what? You're going to take the straws and the rubber band off of the container. Using my glue gun, I'm going to start attaching them to the jar. And you can see here I've already started. I just didn't want to bore everyone to death because it is kind of tedious when you get going. Using my glue gun, I just ran a line of glue on the side of the jar, and then I added my straw. The most important part when you're adding your straw is to make sure that you're keeping your pattern. In here, I'm just matching up the red and the white as I move around the jar. When I was done, I decided to add a ribbon and a bow accent, so I'm using this pretty candy cane ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Once again, just like my last project, I wrapped the ribbon around the holder and I cut it to size. Using my glue gun, I then hot glued it into place. I then cut a piece of the same ribbon and I made a simple bow. I cut the ends at an angle and then I hot glued it into place. As an accent, I painted one of the wooden Dollar Tree candy cane stickers and then I hot glued it onto the bow. This step is completely optional. You can be all finished once you add your bow, but I printed this little candy cane holder sign off of Canva. I'm going to make a frame for it using this pretty striped Dollar Tree ribbon. I measured the ribbon from side to side on the paper and then I cut 2 pieces. Then using my Aleene's glue, I glued one of the ribbon pieces on the top and one onto the bottom. Once they were attached, I then measured my ribbon from the top to the bottom and I cut 2 more pieces. I then glued both pieces of ribbon in place. I gave it a few minutes to dry and then adding some more of my Aleene's glue, I then attached it to the front of my container. After that, all I needed to do was add in my candy canes. I've displayed mine with Dollar Tree candy canes, but I think this is a cute way to offer these Christmas treats to family and friends. For my s'mores project, I'm using one of the porcelain dice from the Dollar Tree. They're a little bit smaller than the foam dice, but the foam dice will work just as well for this project. For my graham crackers, I'm using one of the wooden Dollar Tree planks. This dice has so many fun sayings on it that I kind of hated to paint over it, but I am going to use my white chalk paint and I'm going to end up giving it 2 coats. When I was done, I set it aside to dry, and now I'm going to cut the plank into my future graham crackers. It measures 7 inches in length, so I marked it halfway at 3.5, and then I cut it into 2 pieces. I'm using a golden brown acrylic paint, but I am going to lighten it just a bit with some white. Lightening up the paint, it's completely optional. I just wanted a bit more of a contrast when I add on the chocolate. I painted both pieces on both sides, and I ended up giving them each 2 coats. Once they were dry, I used 1 piece, and on the top, I'm going to accent it to look like a graham cracker. I used my full color golden brown, and with the back of a paintbrush, I made some dots on the top to kind of mimic the top of a graham cracker. For my chocolate pieces, I'm using 4 of the brown blocks from the Dollar Tree tumbling tower. I placed them side by side on my wooden graham cracker, and then using my hot glue gun, I glued them into place. With my marshmallow dice now dried, I'm going to add on a simple face, and let me warn you, I am no artist. For the eyes, I'm using the end of one of my paint brushes and some black acrylic paint. I dipped the end of my paintbrush into the cap, and then I made 2 simple dots onto the face. Using the end of a smaller paintbrush, I made a half circle for the mouth. I want to add a melted chocolate drizzle on the top of my marshmallow, so I'm going to use some Mod Podge and some of this chocolate brown paint that I found at the Dollar Tree. To thicken up the paint just a bit, I mixed some of the Mod Podge and the paint together. This was the fun part. I just started drizzling my chocolate mixture all around the top of the marshmallow. When I was done, I flipped the marshmallow onto its top and I let it dry overnight. I wanted to make some rosy cheeks, so I dipped a Q-tip into my blush. I then twirled the Q-tip to make 2 little cheeks. With everything complete, it's finally time to put this s'more together. Using my glue gun, I assembled all 3 pieces. You can leave this as is and it's super cute, but I decided to go one step further and I'm going to add a little bow to the top. Using some of this Dollar Tree red and white check ribbon, I made a simple bow. And to finish off this s'more, I glued it into the center of my graham cracker. I think my Dollar Tree s'more came out so cute and I'm going to be using it in my 3-tiered tray. But I think it would also make a really cute ornament, and all you need to do is attach a hanger to the top. I hope you had fun hanging out and making these projects with me. If you're new and you think, hey, I'd like to come back and hang out with her again, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. I'll see you all very soon. Bye, everybody.